Hi, my name is Quin, and today I'm going to tell you a story about an encounter I had of almost coming face to face with a wild mountain lion about a year ago. I'll start out the story by explaining my grandparents owned 24 acres of land on a side hill in Stockton, Minnesota. Most of the 24 acres that they have is on a steep slope, so it's completely covered in woods, fairly dense woods too. Um, but about 2 or 3 years ago, me and my dad started to find cougar prints. These cougar prints were about that big around. My dad's hands are slightly bigger than mine, and he couldn't fit his or his fingers completely around the prints. And so we found those prints for about a year, and then we found smaller footprints right next to the bigger ones. Then after throughout the spring and summer, slowly got bigger until eventually, all we were finding were the medium-sized prints. And so we had thought, well, Mama Cougar had a kit, and Mama Cougar had moved off the land, and so the smaller one was kind of in the area then. So, but a funny thing happened after about a year of just finding the smaller ones. We didn't find any prints at all for about a year. I had been looking around all spring and summer and fall during hunting season and didn't find anything. And so fall came and passed, and then just this last January, I was planning on going coyote hunting out at my grandma and grandpa's. And so on the side hill, my grandpa has a system of trails that kind of has a couple cutbacks and a couple different trails that connect. And there's also a small ravine that goes down the hill. And so the coyotes will use that ravine as a traveling route. And so I climbed up the hill and I sat down with my back to a big oak tree, so I was overlooking at least a good portion of the ravine. And so we had gotten a fresh snowfall, about 2 to 3 inches, and it was getting pretty dark, but it just seemed like everything was just extra quiet, and I didn't know like what was up and why it was so quiet. I thought it was because of the snow, but something just didn't quite feel right. So I decided that I should probably leave early. So I got up and I was gonna go to follow my tracks back down the hill, and I didn't make it 20 feet, and I found cougar prints right next to my boot tracks, which is kind of a sobering thought that this cougar came within 20 feet of me and I had absolutely no idea. So this, it kind of taught me a couple different lessons. One, if I can avoid it, I try not to walk in the woods or hunt all by myself anymore. I try to always have at least one person along with me. But then two, situational awareness is absolutely paramount to personal safety. Doesn't matter if you're walking through the woods or through city streets, but you should always be 100% aware of your situation. There wasn't much more I could have done in that particular situation, but it was at least a good reminder. But also too, to have a proper firearm with. I was only using a 22, which is hardly adequate for a coyote, but certainly not adequate for a self-defense situation against a 150-pound cat. So that's something that I learned, and hopefully you enjoyed listening to this story.